Let's cut the fluff. You want him back? Then you need to do this exactly as I say, word for word, step by step. No shortcuts, no emotions driving your decisions, just strategy, because this isn't about begging. It's not about texting him long paragraphs at 2 a.m. And it's definitely not about sitting around hoping he realizes your worth. It's about reversing the entire dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, energetically. And the only way that works is if you follow this playbook with military-level discipline. I'm not here to preach self-love mantras or tell you you deserve better. You already know that. You're here because you want him, period. And if you do exactly what I lay out over the next few minutes, no improvising, no skipping steps, I guarantee he will come back. Not just crawling, but questioning every choice he made the day he let you go. Here's the truth most people won't say. Getting your ex back isn't about talking it out. It's about triggering emotional shifts that force him to rethink everything. And by the end of this series, you're not chasing. He is. And when he finally texts, "I miss you," you'll smile. Not because you want him back, but because you played the game right. Let's begin. Step 1 is non-negotiable. Step 1, no contact. So the first step in getting your ex back, and honestly, the most critical one, is going completely no contact. That means no texts, no calls, no checking in, no replying to their Instagram story with a laughing emoji, nothing, just silence. Now I know what you're thinking, but what if he forgets me? What if he moves on? That panic you're feeling is exactly why this step works. Because guess what? He's expecting you to reach out. He's expecting that emotional reaction. And when you don't, that silence hits harder than any message ever could. No contact isn't just about giving him space. It's about interrupting the pattern. Right now, he knows your emotions. He knows your rhythm. He knows how you respond. So when you suddenly stop showing up, you create discomfort. You create curiosity. And most importantly, you flip the power dynamic. This isn't about playing games. It's about letting absence do what presence couldn't. See, when you're constantly reaching out, chasing, explaining, asking for closure, you're training him to see you as someone who's always available. And when someone knows they can have you at any time, they don't feel urgency. They don't feel loss. And without loss, there's no reason to reflect, no reason to miss you, no reason to come back. But silence? Silence makes him wonder. It makes him question. It makes him go, why hasn't she called? Is she done? Has she moved on? That uncertainty is powerful, because when you're not there to validate him, he has to sit with himself. He has to face his own feelings, his own decisions, and often, that's when the regret starts creeping in. Now, during no contact, your job is not to obsess over him. It's to level the hell up. Start working on your body, your mindset, your social life. Post that glow-up story, not for him, for you, but trust me, he'll see it. Don't sit by the phone hoping. Start moving like he might not come back. And that confidence, that energy, that's magnetic. That's what draws them back harder than any text ever will. So no contact isn't weakness, it's power, it's control, it's resetting the stage so that when he does come back, and if you do choose to let him, it's on your terms. And if you can't do this step, then don't bother with the rest, because without it, nothing else works. Step 2, create subtle emotional triggers. All right, so now you're in no contact. You've gone silent, which is crucial, but silence isn't the same as invisibility. And that's where most women miss a huge opportunity. See, your ex is watching you even when you think he's not. If the breakup was recent, he's lurking. Maybe not directly, but through stories, mutual friends, or just checking your socials without interacting. And if he's not doing that yet, he will. Why? Because silence creates a vacuum. Curiosity grows. And people always want to check if you're suffering, or if you're glowing. Now your job in step 2 is to use this invisible window to plant emotional triggers. But you need to be smart about it. No desperation. No, look at me, I'm doing great energy. That's obvious, and he'll see right through it. What you want is subtle. You want to suggest growth, peace, mystery, and momentum without ever directly saying it. Let's start with Instagram stories or status updates. These are gold. You're not posting selfies crying in bed or quotes about heartbreak. You're showing moments that suggest evolution. You're out with friends, but not partying like you're spiraling. You're at a coffee shop reading. You're laughing in a story someone else tags you in. You're dressed well. You look good. But it's not thirst trap energy. It's I'm glowing and I don't need attention energy. That's the sweet spot. One of the most powerful psychological levers is nostalgia. If you know certain songs, spots, or hobbies you two used to share, sprinkle them into your life in a way that's visible, but not obvious. Maybe post a casual picture at the park you both used to go to, but no caption that gives it away. Let his own mind connect the dots. That's where the emotion hits deeper, when he makes the connection himself. What you're doing here is feeding his emotional memory without directly communicating. You're tapping into his limbic brain, the emotional, instinctive part that
remembers how he felt around you, not just what was said. And this works even better if you're doing things he never saw you do before.
if he always knew you as someone who stayed home, maybe now you're out hiking. If you used to hate working out, maybe now you're in the gym. Don't fake it. Do it for you. But make sure it shows. Because what this communicates is growth, expansion. And whether he realizes it or not, he's recalibrating how he sees you. Let's talk about mutual friends for a second. If you have any shared friends, keep it classy, but let it leak that you've been doing great. Nothing scripted. Just subtle things like, yeah, she's been really focused on herself lately. Looks happier than ever. That line, dropped casually, has a ripple effect. Because it's not coming from you, it's coming from a third party, which makes it more credible, and that hits different. Important rule, do not overdo this. If you're posting 5 times a day, it looks desperate. Once a day, maybe less. Let him wonder. If your account goes quiet for a bit, that silence becomes powerful too. He starts thinking, where is she? What's she doing? That's tension. You want to keep him on the edge. Here's a crucial shift to understand. You're no longer trying to convince him to come back. You're creating an environment where his own mind starts doing the work for you. You're creating a sense of mystery, a quiet glow, and subtle signs that you're becoming someone he didn't fully appreciate before. That forces him to reevaluate what he lost. And most men, when faced with that reality, start to feel a deep internal conflict. They remember the good, they feel the loss, and they start wondering if they made a mistake. This step isn't loud. It's not about begging, texting, or throwing emotional punches. It's soft power, psychological leverage, and when done right, it's deadly effective. Because now, you're not chasing, you're not convincing, you're becoming magnetic. Step 3, let him think he's losing you. So you've been quiet, you've been subtle, you've started triggering some of those dormant emotional wires. But now it's time to twist the knife in a calculated, non-toxic way. This step is about creating urgency. Here's the truth most women ignore. Men don't take real action until they feel loss. Not discomfort, not guilt. Loss, and not just losing you, but losing the version of you they thought they could always come back to. That comfort, that emotional safety net they took for granted, that's what you need to start removing now, not by telling him, by showing him, through behavior, boundaries, and energy. The first and most powerful tactic here is energy withdrawal. It's not about blocking or going ghost. It's about no longer being available in the ways he remembers. Maybe you used to reply within 10 minutes. Maybe you used to like his posts, or casually check in through a friend, or engage in some kind of subtle interaction. Stop all of it. Even if he throws out bait, you don't chase it. Because here's the psychological game. When the attention he used to get for free suddenly disappears, he starts to question his place. Now, here's where this step gets even more powerful. You let someone else fill the gap, not necessarily another man. I'm not talking rebound here. But if he sees your attention going elsewhere, towards passions, towards new friends, maybe even towards a life upgrade, he's going to feel two things: jealousy, fear. Even if he never wanted you back before, that sting of knowing someone else might benefit from the best version of you is enough to activate his competitive instinct. Men are territorial. The moment he starts thinking, wait, she might actually move on, is the moment everything changes. Now, do you go flaunt a new guy? Absolutely not. That's tacky and screams insecurity. But if you're posting a group photo and there's one guy somewhere in the background, smiling, laughing, whatever, it's enough to trigger the question, who is that? Leave it vague. Let his mind spiral. Another key part of this step is living well without performance. This is not about curating a perfect image to impress him. It's about genuinely rebuilding your identity and then letting him witness the glow up from a distance. Maybe you're getting in shape, taking a course, going out with new people, traveling. The more he sees you becoming a better version of yourself without him, the more that internal panic starts growing. She's moving forward, and I'm no longer part of her story. Here's something brutal but honest. Men often don't realize what they had until they're faced with the reality that they no longer have access to it. You need to position yourself in a way that makes him realize this on his own. Because if you try to convince him, it sounds like begging. If you try to prove your worth, it sounds like desperation. But if he feels the shift, if he sees you becoming less and less available, emotionally or mentally, it hits deep. He starts rereading your old texts. He starts looking at your stories a little too long. He starts imagining you with someone. Also, and that pain, that regret, that's the door starting to crack open in his own mind. And when you do speak to him again, and you will, it's no longer him with the power. Because now he's the one who's unsure. He's the one who's thinking, maybe I messed up. Maybe I misjudged her. Maybe she really is gone. That's the moment where he becomes receptive to reconnection, and that's exactly what Step 4 is about. Step 4. Make him feel safe to reconnect without chasing. This is the pivot point. You've stirred the emotions. You've created distance. He's curious, maybe even a little anxious. Now comes the strategic re-entry. But here's the tightrope. You want to pull him in without chasing. You want to create an opening without collapsing your power. This is about inviting connection, not begging for it. You have to play this like a chess master, not an emotional wreck. First, understand what men fear in these moments: rejection, drama, being blamed, being guilt-tripped. If he's thinking of reaching out, even subtly, what he's really wondering is, will she make me feel stupid for coming back? That's the fear. So your job now is to remove the fear barrier, but not at the cost of self-respect. Here's how you do it. When he sends that text, maybe something casual like, "Hey, just thinking about you," or "Hope you're doing okay," you do not jump into your feelings. You don't unload. You don't even mention the relationship. You match his tone, but slightly colder. Just enough warmth to make it feel safe, not enough to say, "I'm still yours." Example, he says, "Hey, been a while. Hope you're good." Your move, "Hey, yeah, life's been full, but I'm good. Hope the same for you." Short, calm, self-contained. What you're doing here is leaving the door cracked, not swinging it wide open. You're saying, "I'm not hostile, but I'm also not waiting." This makes you mysterious, and mystery is magnetic. Now, once he sees that you're open to talking, he might try to escalate, testing if there's still a chance. You're going to control the pace. Maybe you agree to a quick call or a short meetup. But here's the rule. You keep it light. You keep it controlled. You end the interaction first. Why? Because if you let him think he's still got unlimited access to you, the urgency dies. You want him leaving that first call or meetup thinking, damn, she's different. She didn't try to win me back. She didn't ask about us, but I can't. Stop thinking about her. You're flipping the script. You're no longer the one asking, do you want me back? You're making him ask, do I still even have a shot? This is powerful. Now, key detail here. Don't emotionally vomit when he opens up. If he says something like, I miss what we had, you don't throw your heart at him. You stay measured. Something like, yeah, those were good times. I've learned a lot since then. That sentence does two things. It acknowledges the past without clinging to it. It signals growth. It says, I've changed. Have you? And this is the unspoken challenge you're laying down. You're not saying, come back. You're saying, if you want back in, you'd better show me something new. So what happens next? If he's serious, he starts showing more consistency, more emotion. Maybe he starts asking about what went wrong without getting defensive. That's when you know it's time to move into the next step. But if he starts showing old patterns, if he's hot one day, cold the next, you don't call him out. You just remove access again, fast, no warning, no drama. Because remember, you're not trying to get him back. You're trying to attract back a version of him that's actually ready. And the only way to find that out is by never dropping your standards during the reconnection. Step 5. Show him you've changed. This is the moment where everything flips. The part where he stops thinking, does she still want me? And starts thinking, wait, did I lose her for good? And that shift only happens when he sees something he never expected. You, upgraded, not pretending, not posturing, but genuinely different in ways that hit him in the gut. Let's be clear, guys don't come back for the same version they left. If all he sees is the same patterns, the same insecurities, the same arguments waiting to happen, he walks. Maybe he comes back out of guilt or loneliness, but it won't last. What pulls him in and makes him stay is the shock of your evolution, the confidence, the self-respect, the glow-up. Not just in how you look, but in how you carry yourself. And it's gotta be real, no faking. So how do you show him you've changed? First, you don't tell him. You don't text, I've grown so much, or I'm not that girl anymore. That sounds desperate. It's also meaningless without proof. You show it subtly in every interaction. Let's break this down into 3 areas of change he needs. To feel, 1. Emotional control. This is everything. If he used to associate you with drama, emotional explosions, or passive-aggressive silence, you now show up centered, balanced. You don't react instantly. You take your time to respond. You don't let his energy dictate yours. He makes a snide comment. You smile and say, interesting. He tries to trigger you with old patterns. You stay calm, maybe even amused. This throws him off because he's expecting the old cycle. But you're not in that loop anymore. You've evolved. Boundaries, not walls. There's a big difference between pushing him away and showing that you won't tolerate BS. You're not cold. You're clear. He wants to hang out last minute? You say, I'd love to catch up, but I plan ahead now. Let me know earlier next time. No drama, no neediness, just self-respect. You're signaling, I'm available, but not on call. That tells him you're not desperate. You have a life. And if he wants to be part of it again, he has to earn it. Purpose and passion. Men notice when your life is moving without them. You're busy, not pretending to be. You're creating, you're growing. You've picked up new interests, maybe hit the gym, started a business, leveled up at work, whatever it is, it shows. Even in casual conversation, this bleeds through. He asks what you've been up to. And instead of saying, oh, just working and hanging out, you drop something like, I've been diving into photography lately. It's something I always wanted to do for me. It's subtle, but it stings in a good way. Because now you're the prize. You're not chasing, you're choosing. And here's the ultimate test. When he does try to restart things, you don't rush it. You say something like, "I care about you, but if we're going to..." Even think about reconnecting. It has to feel completely different this time. You're not begging, you're setting the terms, because the woman he left is gone. And the woman in front of him now, she's got options, she's got peace, and she's not giving that up for breadcrumbs. That's what makes a man rethink everything, and that's how you get him back, by becoming someone he's scared to lose a second time. Let me know if you want the final wrap-up for this full series. We can end it with a call to power and a new standard for love moving forward.